these are entities that are here on this earth, that have been on this earth, that for who knows how long, and that we, we think they're coming in from way out. Maybe they did millennia ago, but they're here and they're in these deep water areas, and that's why. Like we say, we know more about the face of the moon than we do what's going on there. Now, we have a higher propensity of sightings around these 5 or 6, I believe, deep water areas. And so, to me, what if these are entities that are here on this earth, that have been on this earth, that for who knows how long, and that we think they're coming in from way out. Maybe they did millennia ago, but they're here and they're in these deep water areas, and that's why. Like we say, we know more about the face of the moon than we do what's going on there. Now, we have a higher propensity of sightings around these 5 or 6, I believe, deep water areas, and so to me, it creates a question there. And then when we have naval personnel telling me that we have these sightings and that there's these underwater craft they're chasing that are doing hundreds of miles an hour, and the best we've got is something that does maybe just a little under 40 miles an hour. So I got a lot of questions about that stuff, and
let's have a look at this first of all. This is Charlie Kirk's video from last year about a UFO over Wisconsin.
You're about to see them again. Just watch up above the horizon, and they're going to get really bright, and then they're going to go away. See them? There's 2 of them right there. Those are not airplanes.
Yeah, they keep circling.
They just keep circling, and they're going to go away.
And there's nothing on your radar right now?
No. There's nothing there. I can zoom out.
Now the light's going out.
They're gone.
Have you ever seen anything like that before?
Wow. Nothing on the radar, but these are not aeroplanes, according to those 2 guys in the cockpit there. Richard, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Mike.
What was that, do you think?
Well, it could easily have been a UFO. They like to call them UAPs now. They've sort of changed the name, but the same thing. There's been sensational information out this week in Congress, including the fact that the most powerful missile America has just literally bounced off an extraterrestrial craft last October. And this was shown to people in Congress. But on this tragic day, I thought I'll just have a look, because he was a champion of free speech, Charlie Kirk, and indeed, he did have this sighting. He did film it last October, and he did put it up. He got millions of views on X. So I wouldn't quite say he's an enthusiast, but he was certainly an honest, free-speaking person, and he certainly hasn't ruled it out being extraterrestrial.
So what are we looking at here? This says they are here. Is that?
Now, along the way, something that came across my path in this was that I was contacted by a CEO of a think tank in Washington, D.C. This is back a couple of decades ago. He says, I want you to come and participate in a conference here in Washington. I said, well, frankly, I'm too busy. What's it about? He says, I can't tell you what it's about. But if you come and you participate, you will consider it later to be one of the most important conferences you ever went to. Well, since I had respect for him and his background and many things he's done, I did finally decide to come to this conference. And when I arrived, there were about, 15, 20 people. I recognized some of them from the military, from CIA, DIA, some businessmen, and so on. So I thought, well, this is quite an interesting group of people. And so, to start the conference off, he said, this conference is about disclosing something to the American public. As a startup position, let's assume that there have been crash retrievals by Russia, China, and the United States. And the question is, can we bring this out to the public? And so I think and most of the people I knew, when you talk to them later, said, well, this is really cool. I mean, this could really go someplace. So he said, okay, the strategy we're going to use is we're going to make a list of all the areas that you think would be affected by this. And then on each one, you're going to have to grade them on a scale from +9 to -9 as to the level of impact and whether it's positive or negative. Okay. So we started out by making lists. So we started out with the obvious things. Well, I mean, the stock market, maybe religions. Well, certainly politics would be affected. So we made a long list. I mean, it was really a long list. And the time we got down to the bottom of the list, we were really in the weeds. Like, okay, if corporation A has access to retrieve materials, then corporation B doesn't, then when this comes out, corporation B is going to sue corporation A and sue the government. This is really going to be a tough thing to kind of handle. So, okay. So anyway, we broke up into groups, each taking a certain number of the things that were in our list. Okay. And in my group, we added up the numbers, +9 to -9. And we ended up in the negative category, even though we were kind of positively disposed to the idea. So I thought, well, maybe that just has to do with the particular list that we got. So then I talked to other people that were on other lists and said, you know, we came to a negative number also. Well, to make a long story short, it turned out that everybody going through these lists, there's a very sophisticated situation with complex computers and big screens and all that kind of stuff. It finally came down to the fact that the problem was there's so many areas to handle, and there was no way to handle them all at the same time. And so the final result was, therefore, the leader said, we're going to recommend that we don't go forward with this. And so those of us who were participating in this were pretty disappointed, thinking, you know, we started thinking that, you know, this would be a good thing to do. So anyway,
The
Yes.
UFO struck by the Hellfire missile, it just bounces off it. Is that what we're seeing?
That's right, yeah. That was shown
So
at
there.
Congress on Tuesday
Right.
by a House of Representative person. So what we're looking at there, that's their passing is the missile, but the object that's in the frame, and then this is afterwards. So
Right.
there, the extraterrestrial spacecraft. There's the extraterrestrial spacecraft before it's hit. It's flying across, and then a Hellfire missile, their most powerful missile, hits it, just bounces off. They're absolutely in shock because that
Right.
shouldn't happen.
And why
The
did they fire a
UFO
missile at it, though?
Well, I think it's disgusting they would fire a missile at an extraterrestrial spacecraft. It's not the first time they've tried to do that.
No.
It completely failed.
And what sort of
they had-
speed would you say that's doing?
They weren't quite sure, but could be thousands of miles an hour.
Really?
It's unknown. They weren't quite sure of that fact. It was presented from an unknown source because so many whistleblowers are being damaged. You know, they're being, talk about free speech. I mean, they're having their careers ruined. There are even talk of some of them having been killed. I'm talking about military personnel, Air Force personnel in America.
Right. Blimey. It's quite an extraordinary situation, isn't it? Because there's an awful lot of this in America. We don't see so much of it in this country, but there's an awful lot of interest, and there's been many congressional hearings about it, haven't there?
They have. This is the third one, and there are going to be more. They're campaigning for the declassification of this info. It should be information for us. It's not for... And the strange thing is, even the elected representatives, Democrat and Republican, they are being lied to, and they aren't able to get to the truth, and they're saying so. I think there are streets ahead, I will say, of this country and other countries in having these hearings.
Well, and when we've got Peter Mandelson as the UK ambassador to the United States of America, you can't really be that surprised that we haven't got any information on UFOs. He keeps it all quiet.
I think his interests are elsewhere.
Yeah, it's down the back of the sofa at Jeffrey Epstein's place, but there we are. Richard, good to see you. Thank you very much indeed.
Very good to see you, Mike. Thank
Richard
you.
Lawrence, we'll have you on for longer next time. Author of UFOs and the Extraterrestrial Message. That's an extraordinary bit of footage, though, isn't it? I mean, you can't really tell how fast anything's going there, but it looks like it's going pretty quick. They hit it with a Hellfire missile, apparently, and nothing happens. This has been a very, very unusual show, so thank you.
can't make this shit up. Hellfire missile, one of the most powerful missile in America, the Hellfire missile, it just bounced off of it. Absolutely. Oh, what's the other reporter said? Oh, some military scientists and other people, Navy has been, you know, their careers has been damaged and destroyed, and some of them even came up dead. Woo-ho-ho-ho-ho-ho. Hey, listen to me, my people. They trying to get ahead of the curve because they're going to introduce Pindar, Moloch, and the Dragon King first. They're going to introduce them first to you. And they're going to use catastrophic events that's going to take place regarding with nature to push the agenda to accept these species that have been here for quite some time. And you all can sit inside of a bubble all you want and sit there and believe that some loving man, if you really read those religious texts, God sounds confused and God sounds retarded. He sounds mentally disturbed. God sounds like a psychiatric patient. He sounds crazy to be doing the shit that he's been doing, and literally we jotted down and recorded his events. This is crazy. It's either God isn't real, or the God that they're talking about is the complex cell organism's creator. It's either one or the other. This is what y'all must realize. You gotta think about this. The complex cell has the same propensities as the fucking God they got, as they serve. Just think about it. God slept with Mary. Mary was 13, 14 years old. You couldn't find a grown virgin? Look at what the complex cell do. The Asian race, the Arab race, the white, all of them. They sleep with children and little boys. They abuse them. They sleep with animals. Bestiality. What else you want to know? God was violent. He was destructive. He said God was an angry God. God had jealousy in him. What do you mean? and you serve this nigga. What's wrong? Instead of serving yourself and serving your people, I will give more praise to an ant and a honeybee, or praise the tree before I praise God, or the God that they gave you anyway. This is over. It's coming. It's unfolding, and it's only you. Either the two things that you are feeling right now. You either filled with bliss and happiness, or you feeling shame, resentment, and guilt. Woo! You either filled with bliss of happiness, or you are full of shame, resentment, and goddamn guilt. Now you pick what side you on. Earth is a school. Organic species, I want you to know this. Earth is a school. How did you grade out? How did you grade out? Did you pass what worldly did you pass what a worldly grade, or did you pass what a universal grade? Which one is it? Don't get mad at me for being upfront and tapping in and being aligned with the universe, because there's many of us down here, not just me. Understand and overstand that I'm just one of many great reminders. Kala Ma'at Amin Ra, I told you, I'm going to be known as the great reminder in this realm. Abundance and gratitude to all.